Ladies and gentlemen, how lucky are we to be able to sit here and talk about a third season of Harley Quinn? That's right, the little show that could. Sometimes with animation, especially now in these times with HBO Max and everything happening there, you can worry about a show like this because probably not the biggest audience. It's a queer story, which is going to eliminate some of your audience, sadly. And uncertain times lead you to think there's not going to be the budget for a show like this, but fortunately for us, we did get a third season, and we're getting a fourth season, so I'm like, that's really cool. But let's talk about season 3. It is the first season to have 10 episodes, which I understand. You kind of got your first 2 seasons greenlit on the idea that it's going to be like a 26-episode program. You can pump it out there and have something cool to say. So season 3 is kind of like, okay, now we are entering new territory. We had our story planned out in that first 2 seasons. It was cool. What are we going to do for season 3? Something pretty interesting. Now, I think the second season of the show was kind of iffy. It had a few moments I liked. It ended on a really great note. And this is going to be like the follow-up to The Honeymoon. If the first 2 seasons were the love story of Harley and Ivy coming together, this one, The Honeymoon, is over. They've been together long enough where we're going to see their troubles and tribulations. And I there's some stuff about that can work and stuff about that doesn't really work. Overall, it works well in this show where like their actual troubles that they face as a couple are overcome quickly. They learn to understand each other and trust each other more. Certain revelations are revealed to make you see like maybe Ivy was in a relationship similar to Harley and Joker that made her feel a certain way about her insecurities. Maybe these 2 women deserve to be together and figure out their trauma through it. Maybe their shared visions don't always align on certain things and the other people are lying to each other. And you're like, that is an idea to explore in a third season. We could easily just do it like, damn, it's the Eat, Bang, Kill tour, which what the comic book was, and we could do something fun with that. But to actually sit down and be like, well, they're a real couple, so they can have troubles and turbulations to deal with. I think that's a really compelling thing. The other part about this show, too, is like this season is very Ivy-focused. She's clearly the breakout character that everyone has fawned over, and I can't disagree. So giving her more to do and literally making this central story kind of about her is very compelling because that is where Harley is at in this part of her story. She is kind of just like, I am here to support you. I've spent a long time supporting a man I didn't love. Now I want to support this woman who I am fawning over at every moment. And when that comes, it's very beautiful. It leads to some very compelling episode arcs that you're not really expecting for a show like this. They lean into very interesting themes, like, you know, kind of like Saw-esque stuff and some like Night of the Living Dead stuff. You're like, this is kind of horror-based, and I'm digging it. It's very compelling stuff, and this season went into routes I wasn't expecting it to. It made certain jokes, they play with certain characters in a great way, they make a lot of just great references, and they do ultimately set up their spin-off because Kite Man's getting the spin-off. They talk about that a little bit. The voice acting, very strong still. I love the way everyone's playing off each other, doing great stuff. I don't want to just sit here and sing the praises of Alan Tudyk, but he is given the ultimate task of playing a lot of main characters in different voices and then having those characters emulate other people doing voices. It's very fun. The guest voices are great. Billy Bob Thornton and James Gunn. For some reason, it works well, and those characters feel like they're fleshed out and original, and I love seeing it. It's very cool. I really like Sam Richardson as Swamp Thing. That interpretation of Swamp Thing is so creative and an idea that I genuinely love. Like, it's just so there on the nose that I'm amazed no one's really delved into it before. Harvey Guillén as Nightwing, perfect casting. It is so funny. They do play with a lot of Batman themes in this season too, which I kind of get because we're ramping up into a Batman era again, where things are going to be prominent for that character. So exploring ideas with him, I get it. It goes into some very creative ideas that kind of allow the character to grow into certain ways, and that is very fun to see. I dig that a lot. And then just the specific jokes that work. Billy Bob Thornton playing Thomas Wayne is so funny. Bane and the Pasta Maker is so funny. I love how they don't shy away from the romanticism between Harley and Ivy. It's something you need to focus on. Have those 2 characters fall in love. Have them experience stuff. They are macking on each other a little bit in this show, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. It's good to see that in this like type of program because you don't get a lot of it. And I just really enjoy seeing that story being told across multiple episodes. Everybody is doing great work here. If I had one criticism, and it's not going to be something everybody will pick up on, it's definitely if you're more in tune to animation and you see those things, it feels like the budget is slightly cheaper. Maybe that's why they cut back the episodes to 10 so they could do more for the budget they have. But there are a few moments where it is just like a static picture and we're just having those, kind of like how Young Justice had to survive for a couple seasons, just doing like the lower budget. Things are a little more static. There's a couple of those shots in this season where you see that and you're kind of like, oh, that could look better. But overall, the animation is fluid. Like, it works perfectly, especially in the intense moments where it needs to move fast and have interesting stuff going on. I like that a lot. And surprisingly, they have a joke about the Queen. I'm like, that is timely in ways they probably weren't expecting, and that's kind of creative. I like that. It is a strong show. It knows how to take its themes and its characters, spin it into compelling stories, keep the characters having their difficulties romantically, but still making them fun for each other and love each other, and you love to see it. These two characters are so resonating with a lot of audiences, so we want to see them together, even if they are still conflicting in certain areas. When they come back together every time, it's very cool, and it leads to some great storytelling. This season, I'm very impressed with. It just knew how to balance itself, how to make compelling stories, how to keep the entertainment light but heavy, dealing with a lot of issues for some major characters. Doing that in your third season's impressive, and the fact that we're coming back for a fourth one leads me to believe we're getting some really good stuff from this show. I'm glad it exists. I'm very impressed with how they've handled Harley Quinn over the past couple of years, and this show is one of the prime examples of you never know what's going to stick. Who would have thought that the over-violent, hypersexualized queer love story would become one of the staying factors of an animation studio that's kind of falling apart? That's kind of impressive, and it does suck to say that this is one of the few animated shows still operating on HBO Max, but it just shows you the testament of a show like this being able to find its legs and stay its ground. It's very fun. What they do with the Joker is so shocking that it actually is funny. And I'm a guy who actively hates the Joker character. They made me go like, that is a joke that I can get behind. There is something funny about that, something compelling to play with, so I'm on board for it. Good job, Harley Quinn Season 3. You made something cool. So, Harley Quinn Season number 3, I am going to give a 7 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.